Well, welcome to the Pulse of Spokane. Kent Adams, your host today. I hope you're having a good time. I hope you're enjoying our weather. But most important, we have a big surprise for you today. Perhaps you've heard of Too Slim and the Tail Draggers. Too Slim is here on the Pulse, live next.
Need replacement windows? Call 1-800-NEXT-WINDOW. Window World. Simply the best for less.
Well, this is Loomsday in Spokane. We got about 40 firefighters and their friends and family handing out 40,000 cups of water as the day goes by.
It's a very good opportunity to see the public and support them and help them out and cheer them on during Bloomsday.
It's one of the best things about Spokane is that we have these major events and the whole community comes together not just to participate but to volunteer and show that they really care about our city and making our city look great.
This type of an event really is emblematic of Spokane because so many people get involved. We have 50,000 people probably running this race. Always has been a very huge event.
Right now we're at the corner of Broadway and Nettleton. It's the last water station before the finish, so people are pretty much dehydrated by the time they get to us. They really need our water.
The water stations are a vital part, especially on warm days like today. It's real important that we have the volunteers to help with that. Without the volunteers, Bloomsday wouldn't exist.
All up and down the course, there are people that are involved in this celebration. It really is a celebration of what Spokane's all about.
Well, welcome back, and it's my pleasure to have Tim Langford, otherwise known as Too Slim.
Too Slim.
And you got that title years ago, right?
Years and years and years
and
ago.
I warned you before we went on, as you get older, it gets harder to be called Too Slim.
It does.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy it while you can, okay?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like almost a geezer now, so.
Yeah. Tim, how are you doing?
Well, I've made it this far through this pandemic. It's been challenging.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah. What has that done to your touring? Because so many folks have had to either cut back or do virtual or none at all.
It completely eliminated any work
Really?
for the last year. And
Wow.
A little over a year now.
Yeah, but you're getting back out there now, aren't you?
Well,
you've got some dates set.
Yeah,
and so
few
forth.
things, and then things are starting to come in. Mostly near the end of July, things are picking up and into the fall and stuff. So, things are looking up. And it was last year we had, coming out of 2019, I went and recorded a new album down in Nashville at our bass player Zach Kosic's studio in February, to the 1st of March, just about the time everything was hitting the fan. And
of course,
so we didn't really know what to expect, and so we actually pushed the release of the CD back to July because we figured, according to reports at the time, it's like, well, by July things will be happening, and
2020 was the year that wait another 2 weeks or 2 months, right? Yeah,
which didn't happen. It just was, roller coaster, and we had a great 2020 tour set up, and it just was a row of dominoes. It just kept, and you didn't know. Usually everything was like, you only had like 2 weeks notice that there was going to cancel, and so everybody'd be hanging on, thinking, well, we'll see, we'll hang on, and then now we got to cancel it. And
did the album go out?
It did go out.
Okay.
Yeah, and it came out.
How did it do in this crazy world of COVID and so forth?
Well, I mean, it came out, debuted at number 3 on the Billboard Top Blues Album chart and stuff.
Show off.
I mean,
you're just kind of a show off, aren't you?
But we weren't able to support it tour wise, which is a big part of selling a lot of CDs
Right.
and stuff. But it did. I mean, it's it's done well, and got lots of radio play and everything.
So considering the time of 2020, it did okay.
It did okay.
Yeah.
It could have done a lot better, but
Of course.
I guess we got a second chance at it. It was like, oh, it's brand new. Now we're on the road. See, it's brand new.
Newly released.
Yeah. So
A second time, but that's in fine print.
Yeah. So, but it was, that was tough, and because our last CD, High Desert Heat, was nominated for Blues Rock Album of the Year at the Memphis Blues Awards, and so we had a real momentum going with the new one, and
yes,
we got tons of radio play on Sirius XM with that one, and
good.
But yeah, so I guess we'll just see once we get out there and try to make it new again.
Yeah. When do you start to go tour again?
Well,
July.
Yeah, end of July.
Really?
Yeah,
end of July. Yeah.
Got some shows start. Got like a 2-week run, end of July, first week of August.
Is that what you do? You kind of go out for 2 weeks and then rest for a little bit, and
yeah, with my band living in Nashville, I try to. It's not always just 2 weeks. Sometimes we'll go out for a month.
Okay.
And then and then if we can't put enough dates together or whatever, we'll go. They've got to go home. I'll go home, and then we'll meet up. But we usually have base our tours on some kind of festival or something like that, anchor date, and then try to either route ourselves to and back from it, or we'll just go out, fly out, do it, come back home. Depending on how the finances of the.
How many albums to date?
Well, I have 14 studio albums with Too Slim and the Tagwaggers, and I did 2 solo albums. One's called Pint Store Blues and Broken Halo, and we got some live CDs and a couple of compilation discs and anthology albums. I think total 22, maybe.
That's all.
I could be wrong on that. It's like
I love
a long
it.
time. I started the band in 1986.
Okay.
So it just seems like it's weird for me to say that I've had the band for 35 years, because the funny thing was, after about 10 or 15 years of having the band, I remember I would have younger people come up to me and go, yeah, I found out about you from my dad, my mom, and stuff like that. And then now it's grandma and grandpa. You're my grandpa's favorite band, or my grandma's. So
now we happen to have behind me. She's off screen, but didn't you and your husband go to a date for Too Slim, Sulani? She's on. Didn't you and your husband date at a Too Slim concert?
After I thought about it, I realized it was a different band.
Oh, a different band. Well, so much. So I guess they'll be okay now. I'm kidding. What? I want to go back. I want to go back to the beginnings of all of this. Is this playing the guitar and writing music and singing and all of that? Is that something you did as a kid?
I didn't start playing the guitar till I was maybe 14, or something like that. But I have a cousin. His name is Steve Springer, and he's a very talented musician. And he was older, and so when I was a little kid, I remember we lived in Spokane until we moved to Everett for 2 years. I went to first grade and second grade in Everett, Washington, because my dad got transferred from the telephone company, and then we moved back here. But when we moved back, and then my cousin Steve, he was already playing music, and he had all the great albums, that at the time. So he turned us on to. I remember that summer. It was like the summer of, I guess, 1967 or something like that, and we were staying. Then while my parents were looking for a house and stuff, so we stayed there all summer with my cousin and my aunt, and he just had Beatles records, Paul Revere and the Raiders, Cream, you know, all this great stuff, and he was always playing, you know, the music and the radio, you know, at the time played, you know, on AM radio. I remember, you know, hearing the Doors and Jimi Hendrix and you know, the Stones and stuff like that on the radio all the time. So, and I also remember that summer my aunt worked for a dentist, and he had a pool in his backyard with a jukebox.
I love it. That's great.
We got to go over to his house a lot that summer, and you know, I just go over and punch in whatever, and he had great stuff on there.
Oh, nice.
I remember that song. One of my favorite song on that jukebox at the time was "Painted Black" by the Rolling Stones.
Yes.
So I'd play that one over.
So that was the summer of 1967?
67, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
That's the year I got married.
Is it really?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
In fact, we came from Southern California to Wenatchee to work for the summer at a summer camp there, and then went back to L.A. So we were up in the Northwest at the time.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was a fun summer. I remember that. And then my parents found a house out in Spokane Valley.
Yeah.
And so my mom still, you know, they thought the house is still there. My dad passed away in 2015. But
right. In fact, you're up here from the Boise area and gonna help take care of your mom a little bit. It's your turn between the family, right?
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
I have two brothers who live here. You know, Mike and Randy, and I have another brother. Actually, lives here, but he works in Seattle, so he's back and forth all the time.
Sure.
And, and I was in Nashville up until 2017.
Yeah.
Me and my wife Nancy, we moved to Eagle, Idaho, which is basically Boise.
Right.
In 2017, so
good for you.
But my mom, she just, you know, she had some health issues, surgeries last year.
Yes.
Which, you know, ended up so she couldn't really take care of herself by herself.
Right.
And she's
as I told you, it's our turn to take care of our parents and so forth, right? And they took care of us when we were little brats, right? So
I wondered how my mom put up with 4 boys. After my son was born and stuff like that.
You know what he was talking about.
I remember saying to her, "How did you do it with 4 of us?" You know, it's like.
Now I was going to ask you to play, but you forgot your guitar today.
I did.
So I'm going to make you on our program.
I'll come back.
Promise to come back, right?
Okay.
Well, you're going to be up here, so that's going to be a little easier and so forth. And I wish you and Peter and all of the crowd that's doing this wonderful performances and drive-up performances Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of this weekend and so forth. The best of luck in that.
Yeah,
I hope you make some money for Peter's son and for others and Spokane we've worked with in the past and so forth, and some other organizations. I know if I say them all, I'll forget somebody.
Right.
So we'll just pass over but good to see you.
Yes,
and when I first talked to you, I remember you from about 5 years ago when you did this, when we were just audio, I think, at the time. And Tim Brummett, our friend, said, do you remember him? And I said, I kind of remember him, but what I remember about Tim was that he was a nice guy. And, you know, sometimes that doesn't happen in entertainment.
Well,
I know that comes as a surprise, right?
I had those experiences myself.
Yeah, but it's good to see good people who care about the music, who care about entertaining. You get it. Yeah. And so we look forward to having you back again soon on the
thank
Pulse.
you. Thanks for having me, Kent. And it's going to be beautiful weather this weekend.
Oh,
everybody.
my gosh. Yeah.
Come on down and hear some music because we haven't been able to do that in a long time.
Right. No kidding. We're all waiting to see live stuff again, aren't we? Okay.
Oh, my God.
Well, thanks, Tim.
Yeah,
all
you
right.
bet. Thank you.
Too Slim and the Tail draggers, if I can say it right.
Yeah.
And thank you, Tim Langford.
Bet.
All right.
Bet. Thank you.
See you next time on the Pulse of Spokane. Thanks for watching. Ask the host a question, recommend a guest, or check out any of our other programs on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or SpokaneTalksMedia.com. Sponsored by Local 29 Firefighters Union, Well Dressed Walrus, and Homes for You.